So we'll take you back to the capital city, Pietermaritzburg, and Taresh Harreeparshad is our SABC News reporter, gauging progress and what the future of the province looks like. Taresh, are you there? All right, we'll come back to Taresh in a moment, but as he was sharing with us in an earlier crossing, the streets of the city centre forever changed and altered as the destruction made its way from the city centre into the outward communities and suburbs. And the Pietermaritzburg certainly trying to rebuild its economy along with the rest of the province. We also will be in conversation, just incidentally, later on in the program with the KZN Business Chamber, deployed to disperse money and funds, support funds to affected businesses in the province. So let's take you now to Taresh Harreeparshad. He is standing by. Taresh, we just wanted to get a sense of how Pietermaritzburg, like other cities in KZN, are viewing its economic future.
Economic future looking quite challenging here, I can tell you that much. A lot of conversations had here on the streets of Pietermaritzburg, and many businesses still not convinced that their claims are being taken seriously. Many have also told me that they don't know what's going to happen in the next month. This is the uncertainty that the July unrest has left for many businesses here in the city of choice. Now, you will understand that we have been bringing you live coverage throughout the day, looking back at what happened, and you are reminded of these riots that took place. What started off as a protest in support of former President Jacob Zuma when he was issued with the Constitutional Court order for his arrest for contempt of court, turned into what government and many authorities have called a failed insurrection. And what that did was brought a lot of failure to the lives and the economic longevity of the many people here in the city of choice. One of them, like Younis Asmal, who's had run a family business here for about 140 years. Everything decimated in a day. We're going to be speaking to Yunus Asmal now to find out what that journey has been like. Yunus Asmal, a very warm welcome to you this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
I know we want to talk about the future and where we're headed, but I want to take it back 365 days and ask you, as a business owner, when you received the news that your business legacy of 140 years was up in flames, what went through your head?
Well, we were shocked that this happened because it's never been something you expected, and you thought that there were police and people like that who would maintain the peace, which unfortunately didn't happen. The police were there, but they were unarmed, or they were in parts in some areas and not everywhere else. Private security was employed at huge cost to help, but with all that, there were big volumes of looters, and they emptied the warehouse, they emptied our shop. They tried to put the warehouse on fire, but the sprinklers saved us. The security company managed to put the sprinklers on. Our store in Edendale area in the township was burnt completely to the ground. So there was nothing left there. The stocks were all taken. Our trucks were used to transport the stolen goods, and they were set on fire. So we've lost all that completely.
Yeah. And enter government with about 3.75 billion rand as a rescue package for businesses like yourself. In the aftermath of the unrest, how was that able to throw you a lifeline?
Well, it took a while before we even got paid out, but we had to shrink the size of our warehouse to one section because of the damage. Our fixes were all damaged, our offices were damaged, our IT system, the whole network was in total disarray, damaged. So to try and get everything back online, it took a long while. But the payment from the government side came in much later than we had expected. So we had the benefit of suppliers trying to help us by providing us goods and extending payment terms. So that's the way we tried to get back on our feet. Yeah. And obviously we had to retrench a lot of people. 50 odd people had lost their jobs. We had to pay retrenchment, all that, and no help came from the state. And up till now, the damaged furniture and all hasn't been replaced. Our trucks, the insurance pay you out about 1/10 of what you paid for the truck. So you're not exactly getting much benefit out of it all. Yeah. But we're trying to get back on our feet.
You know, you talk about 365 days after all of this, and you mentioned retrenchments. How big do you feel that responsibility is on your shoulders now to try and reignite, reinvigorate the Pietermaritzburg economy, and at the same time put food on the table of so many others who work for you?
Yeah, it's a difficult one to get back to, because you feel bad. There were some people with you in some of the stores who've been there for a long, long time, and you would like to save their jobs, and obviously they feed their families. And that's something it's going to take a while, if anything, if we go ahead and try to come back to where we were. We're nowhere near there yet, and time will tell. And that's about it, really. We don't know. It's a difficult one to answer.
You know, there's this big debate now about the future of these affected areas. When an economic sustainability does come through and these businesses start to bounce back, is there a fear that they're not going to do it in these spaces because they're afraid that an unrest could strike again?
Yes, there is that fear. In fact, we spent a small fortune right now building extra walls to protect the warehouse, to protect the stores, added security at huge costs. And it's something we always worried about, that this can happen if there isn't sufficient policing in the area or protection for something others that happens. I think not long after that in Durban, there was some looting in the containers when the floods came. So it hasn't left. So there's always in the back of your mind that this can happen. But we just got to beef up our security and worry about the other couple of hundred people that are employed by us, and keep them in the business.
Business owner Younis Asmal, thanks for your time, and we wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So there you go, the concerns that have come through here from the business owners in Pietermaritzburg. They're looking back now a year later. Where are they? Where are they going? Uncertain times, uncertain futures, but definitely a commitment to try and pick it all up a year after the unrest. It's back to the studio.
A lot of resilience in that story, Taresh. It was very hard to listen to it. I recall as a child, actually, and as a teenager, shopping at that very Asmall's in Pietermaritzburg. That's where my mom lives. Thank you for that update. SABC News reporter Taresh Harreeparshad just sharing a year after the July riots in KwaZulu-Natal. How is business finding its feet?